Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of What You Reading. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Delize. Welcome back, guys. So for this episode, we were recommended a story. It's actually a I think like a 5-book series. It's called A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Did you say
Maas, I think.
Yeah, Sarah J. Maas. It actually is a New York Times best-selling author. She's one of their best-selling authors, so that's cool. So yeah, we're gonna review that story and let's get into it.
Okay, guys, in the beginning of the story, it was this girl. Her name was Feyre. She's the main character. If you guys don't know, you will. Her name was Feyre. She had 2 sisters, which was Nesta and what was her sister's name? Elaine, right? And so in the beginning of the story, it talks about how they were pretty much poor and how it kind of gets into the backstory of how her dad, her dad went by nothing, was
Lost all
like
her
money. Daddy was, yeah, so the daddy gambled away all their money. I think that was it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the daddy gambled away all their money and they became poor. I don't even remember what happened to the mama at all. The mama died, but I don't know how she died.
I don't remember.
It don't really say.
Yeah, I don't really remember, honestly.
So basically, it was just the 3 girls, and the other 2 girls, I guess they was used to high society and having stuff that they really didn't know how to hunt and do all this stuff. But the last one, Feyre, she did. I don't know where she learned it from. Mm-hmm. But she learned how to hunt and help the family survive because the other 2 girls weren't doing nothing because they couldn't or just wouldn't. And the daddy, his leg was messed up because he was a gambler. So when the people came to collect the money and he didn't have it, honey, they hurt him bad, and that's why he had that limp. He couldn't really do anything with that leg. Mm-hmm. So in this part of the story, they were hungry, and this was like, not necessarily. Feyre was like, she had to go out there and hunt and find it. So she went out there to hunt, and she found, while she was hunting, she seen this wolf. Was it wolf? Was he like a wolf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was a big old wolf. She said a wolf, and wasn't it something else she seen?
I don't remember.
Like a deer?
It might have been a wolf
something.
and a deer. Yeah, it was something like that.
Right, and so in her head, she was like, nah, he ain't finna get this deer before I get this deer because we hungry. And I got to do whatever I got to do. But she noticed that this wolf was not like moving. He was just like kind of just sitting there. And she like, well, I'm just going to have to kill him too, right? So she noticed that like he just wasn't even trying to move. Like clearly he seen her because she looking at this wolf looking at her. And she took her bow and she shot him dead in the eye. Ain't that what happened? Mm-hmm. So she died. She shot him dead in the eye or whatever, but he went all the way completely dead. So she just kind of made sure he was dead all the way. So she took the wolf, and I think she killed the deer too, girl.
And she was getting they were getting food for the week, girl.
Yeah, like they were struggling, so she had to make it do what it do. And she was like, I done hit the jackpot. So they really wasn't using the wolf for food, but because he had the fur, they needed her. She knew her sister needed a new cloak, so she was like, oh, "Okay, well, I got this for this, and I got this for the food." So she took all this home. Don't ask me how she put that on her back and took it home, because that's what she did. She took it home, you know. And then her ungrateful sister, right? It was like, who gonna clean it?
Who gonna take care of it?
Me.
Get someone else to do it.
Right, get somebody else to do it because I need that cloak, but I don't need to be doing all that. So she was like, girl, whatever. Y'all do what y'all need to do. Go out there and cut some darn wood so we can have heat and all this stuff. And she was like, I ain't doing it. Like, really Favor did everything.
She was
if it was not...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say she was the reason why the family was getting fed and like staying afloat with what they had because she was doing all that stuff for them.
Right, because remember y'all now, they on hospice. They used to high society. They used to having people to do stuff for them. So now that they're not doing nothing and they living in this little 2-bedroom cottage, Farrah is the one that's having to do everything. She's cutting the wood so they can stay warm, hunting for food so they can eat, like making sure they get everything they need. Favor doing all of this, but they still was so ugly towards her. And it wasn't any lying. It was more of the other sister, Nesta.
Yeah, Nesta wasn't here for the shit, like at all.
Yeah, like for real, she was just mean, and then she had these prominent eyes that, like, that's. Like, it was just, I don't know if it was the eyes of her mother, but her eyes, it was something about her eyes that they just kind of kept talking about. So anyway, she was like, go out there and just like go cut the wood so we can have some warmth. We can have, get the food and all that good stuff going. And she was like, I'm not gonna do that or whatever. But so she was like, whatever, girl, I'm going in my room and do whatever. So when she came back out, she did notice that she did cut the wood. Even though she was talking that junk, she did cut the wood this time or whatever. And so they skinned the wolf, and I was like, okay, we're gonna take this into town so we can get some good money for it. This is like the next day. So they took the wool from the wolf and took it into town, and they met this woman there. The woman, I don't know what she was. I don't know if she was human. I don't know what she was. Do you know?
I don't know.
Like, cause she seemed like she wasn't from there,
right?
But she's very well traveled too. But I don't know if she was human or not, because in this story, it's like so many different things.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she met this lady. The lady was like very well traveled, taught her a lot about, don't trust Faye. The Faye do this, the Faye do that, right? So nobody ever seen the Faye.
Also, wait, real quick. Something that they also told her was that the Fae can't lie.
Yeah, the Fae can't lie. That was the biggest thing. So, what was I saying?
She was showing her all the stuff and telling her about the Fae. Nobody had ever seen a Fae before.
Right. So nobody ever seen the Fae or whatever. She kind of talked her into buying this wool from her. I don't know if it's fur or wool. I don't know. But she talked her into buying it from her, and she gave her a good fair price for it too, because wasn't nobody else trying to pay that. So she learned some little things from her, and she got whatever from her, and then she kept moving. So they went back home or whatever, and she was like, I made enough money that we could eat for a minute. We would have stuff for a minute. So they went back home, and like, I don't know if it was the next day or that same day, that's when Tamlin came in the picture. Now, y'all, Tamlin is a high Fae, but she didn't know who he was. She just knew he was Fae. But they never even seen Fae before, because I don't know if it was like they knew it was out there, but they just never did seen it, or did they think it was a myth? But
I think they didn't believe it.
Yeah, but I think the daddy had already seen Faye before, haven't he?
I think so. Something, because he didn't seem phased. But he also didn't seem phased about life, period.
Right. But when the Faye came, and he was like, who killed my brother? It wasn't his brother, it was like
it was one of his people. Yeah. Yeah,
but he was like, who killed him? Who killed him? Who killed him? And they was like not trying to tell him. And then Favor, because Favor was like, I did it. But I didn't know who he was to you. I didn't know this. He just looked like a wolf, and you don't look like no wolf.
This is what was weird though to me, because he transformed himself into a wolf because it was like a glamour or whatever, and she killed that wolf. But how did that wolf not turn, like, once it was dead, how did that not wear off and they would see a person or whatever, you know, or like a fairy? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I also think we be thinking about True Blood a lot when we think about stuff like this.
Girl, you right.
That's what we that's our little references to True Blood.
You right.
Because on that, they did turn back if something happened.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so he came in, he was like, who did it? Favorite was like, me, I did it. I know that was your homeboy, whatever. And he was like, okay, but because of the treaty, you gotta either be killed by me right now or come back with me right now. Mm-hmm. And she was like, what? You just ain't gonna kill me straight up like I killed your homie. Like, you ain't gonna kill me?
Right.
And he was like, nah, because of the treaty, I gotta take you back. And you just gotta live with me forever. So she was like, all right, well, I'll do that, whatever. So he took her back, but he like made her like kind of pass out. Mm-hmm. And she kind of just woke up there. So because, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so she was really worried about leaving her family because she knows that she was a provider for all of them, and she's like, if I leave, they're gonna suffer. And he was like, well, let's do this. I'll make sure that they taken care of, but you're gonna have to come with me, girl. So
right. And the thing of it is, I don't even feel like she really liked her family that well.
Yeah, because I feel like she was doing so much for them, and it seemed like it was kind of being like
underappreciated.
Yeah, and so she was probably like, this is gonna be like a little mini vacation, low key. So yeah. But yeah, he decided to take care of her family. So when they left to go to, I think it's Prithian. So there's like a little map of what all this looks like, and like the mortal world is like a line, and then the rest of it is Fae territory. And so they crossed over that threshold to go into Fae territory. But what he did was he put something on the family, making them think that she went to an aunt's house, like a sick aunt's house. So they didn't even realize that she got taken by Fae. They just realized that she went and left, and she's at an aunt's house.
Right, she went to take care of the sick aunt. Mm-hmm. So she get over here and she was like, okay, I'm gonna be a prisoner over here. I'm about to be just doing chores and just taking care of stuff. No, boo, they ain't treat her like a true prisoner at all. And she didn't understand that. She was like, why y'all ain't trying to kill me? Why y'all ain't trying to do this? Why y'all ain't trying to do that? No, boo, they was just trying to keep you up over there. So she was just over there. And so when she got over there, they really didn't care about her like that. Like, they still mad that she killed a homeboy, but they knew why. But she didn't know that they knew why. So she thinks she over there just because she killed that homeboy. And so, but she kept trying to understand why y'all ain't killing me? I don't get it. Why y'all being so nice? Should we tell
the backstory now, or?
Yes, you go ahead. I'm gonna let you have it now. I was about to say go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the backstory of why the wolf was there in the first place, who was Fae that transformed into a wolf, was because, this gets deep into it, but Tamarin had sent him over there because there's a curse that was put, or I don't know if it was a curse, but there was something put on them that in order for him to break this curse, which is with Amarantha, who we'll kind of talk about in a little bit, he would need to have a human girl kill one of the Fae and fall in love with him.
But the human girl also had to have hate in her heart.
For Fae, yep.
For Fae, yeah. So he had to make her fall in love with him. Like, she had to say, I love you. And she had to, like, have hate in her heart and all that kind of stuff, too, for Fae.
So that's why all that even transpired the way it did. So I don't know if y'all remember in one of our last episodes, I was kind of talking about the story and how much detail was in the beginning and just seemed like very redundant. Well, come to find out, the reason why they expressed it in the way that they did is because you needed to understand what she did to kill that wolf, because that wolf was Fae. So it just kind of goes back to, like, I get why they did it. It still was a lot of detail, but I get why they did it now. But yeah.
Right. And so now you kind of understand why. Like, why even that, like, wolf was, like, just standing there waiting to be killed. Because as the story go by, it kind of lets you know that they been under this treaty for 50 years. And that, or not this treaty, under the spell for 50 years. And they have their court was so huge that it sent so many people over there to try to do what they're doing now, but it just didn't work. And they end up dead one by one. So at the end of the day, it was just like, by the time his friend went over there, he was high fae. They sent so many people over there that was not even high fae, that at this point all they got left is high fae.
Like,
so go ahead.
I was gonna say there was a bunch of high fae, and then the thing too is with this. So Tamarin is like peaceful. He doesn't want to have any harms to humans. His daddy though, he don't care about humans at all. And so one of the things that his daddy was trying to do was kind of trying to take over his daddy and his brothers. And so his brothers and them, they kind of clash, but Tamarin is like a beast at battle. He's like super powerful, all this other stuff, but they weren't seeing eye to eye on the whole like human thing. So
right, he didn't like that slavery and all that stuff.
Exactly. So he wanted to have peace. He wanted to find some way to have all this peace, but then Amarantha ass was over here tripping too. So they had this. So not only did the curse require that, it also had them these masks that were stuck to their faces. Like they couldn't take them off.
And it's a whole story for that too.
Show is. You tell that story, girl.
Ooh, there's so many backstories, y'all.
There is.
So, the reason they wearing the mask is because how you say that? Amarantha. Sorry, y'all. I cannot say it for some reason. Amarantha. Still didn't say it right.
You was good.
She had them tricked. Now, this is what I wanted to ask you. Was she her fae or no?
So I don't
think she was fae at all.
I don't think she was high fae. She was something, but I don't know if she was high. I don't remember, honestly. I don't think she was high fae though.
I don't think she was high fae, but some way she done tricked all these high fae.
Yeah, because she had all of them under her thumb, because they was all in agreement about the whole human thing. They were like, yeah, let's get rid of them all. And she's like, bet, I'm down. And they were like, okay, cool. But then she had got something on them, and so they were all just doing what she was saying just cause. I don't know, that was kind of
It was just weird. And then she ended up just taking over the power. And she was like, okay, we're gonna be at peace now, so y'all come to this like little party that we throwing, but it's like a masquerade party. So everybody had to wear the masquerades to there. Everybody had to be in attendance, no matter who you were, even if you was high fae or like the regular fae, you had to be there. So they all went to this party, and then she put the spell on them. Because she hated humans, because the backstory of what... There's a million backstories. So the backstory of why she didn't like humans is because her sister... Was it her sister fell in love with a human?
Yep. And he did her dirty. He did her dirty.
He did her dirty. And she thought, he my man, so he on my side. No, he was never on her side. And he ended up killing her. So as Marantha, whatever her name is, did not like human people. So she had people coming to this party or whatever.
Oh, wait, before you get there. What she did in after she found out about her sister getting killed by that guy, she ended up killing him and taking his was it an eye or something like that? She used to wear it. But he was still alive in there, like his spirit or something, so the eye would move around and all that. So she took it so that these fae are hundreds of thousands of years old. Like, they're super old. So this thing has been rolling around deep for whoever knows how long. Okay, go ahead.
So they went to this like little party or whatever, and she put the spell on them, and now they couldn't even take this mask off because Esmeralda ended up wanting Tamlin.
She wanted that man bad.
Tamlin was fine in this story. I don't know what he looked like. I don't know what I was in my head. Okay, so let me just tell you this. So a lot of times when I read the stories or I'm listening to the stories, I try to envision who they are. I don't know if y'all know that, but if you listen to us enough, you should know this what I be doing. So I be trying to envision who these people are or what they look like. if it's not like a fanfic and we already know what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
But I be trying to envision of who they look like. I could not do him for nothing. I could not do none of them. I don't know why. I could not do it. And every time I try to think about it, it missed the story up for me. So I was like, nah, I'm just going to let it go. It's just going to be what it is.
You know what it was for me? The mask. The mask threw it off for me. Because I couldn't figure out like what they looked like underneath because they had the mask on. So they didn't give a good detailed description of what their faces looked like because of the mask.
Right.
But could you imagine? I was going to say, could you imagine like... You know, you forget that you got to go to this party, so you grab a last minute mask at like, you know, Party City, and now you stuck with that ugly.
It was so stupid.
Mad, like, dang, this is the mask I chose.
That would be me. I'm only waiting for a couple of hours.
Right, it'll be fine. It'll need to be expensive. Yeah, it just gotta be a little something that I could get in with, you know. That is too funny.
That's funny. But they end up having to. Okay, so what I was saying, I'm sorry, y'all. So she was in love with Tamil. She wanted Tamil, and Tamil was fine, honey. Go ask what he looked like, but all I know is he was fine. He had a built body, a good chest, and blonde hair. That's all I can tell you. And a good chin, and some lips. But you couldn't see.
Face.
Yeah, but you couldn't see past that nose now. You could not see. So she wanted him, but he did not want her. He was like, no, boo, I do not want you. She was like, oh, since y'all don't want me, your whole court gonna wear these masks. So the whole court had to wear this mask until Taylor broke the spell. So it was two ways he could have broke that spell. Now he could have broke the spell by him going with her, like being with her, or like we said, he had to find a human person that had hated her heart for the Fae that fell in love with him
after killing one of the Fae.
After killing one of the Fae, and they had a spell on them, so they couldn't tell her that. So I was thinking, you know what I mean? I was thinking about Beauty and the Beast. You know?
Ooh, okay.
Part of that. When that's just what I thought about. And it's so crazy because we had just got finished reading Peter Pan, so I was like, what is Disney doing?
What is Disney?
Anyway, these authors need to get with Disney.
Yo,
now the Peter Pan story could not as much smut was in that book. Maybe take that out, but these are good stories.
So I just found out because I was looking up this story. Apparently, they were working on like a Hulu series for this. I don't know if it ever came out.
Really?
I don't know what. Yeah, girl. So they were working on a Hulu series for this series of books. I'm not really sure what came of it. I just saw it the other day and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then that was kind of it. But
ooh, I hope so.
Girl, I watch it. I
would too. I would too, and because there's not a lot of smut in these stories. The little bit that it is like skimmed over almost.
It's very mild.
Right, but you didn't really miss that much with the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
now with a fanfic, girl, I be missing it in the fanfics now. But this story, you didn't miss it.
Because there was so much happening.
Right. Also, I might have been overstimulated from the Peter Pan stories because they just had so much of it.
Yeah, girl. Yeah.
So much, very, very detailed.
Yeah. For sure.
But anyway, so back to the story, guys. Sorry. So that's how they got the mask on, and they had to keep the mask on. So now you go ahead, D, because I don't remember where we was at before I came to both of the backstories that I had to tell you.
Oh yeah, so she's at the court, or at the house in Prithian. That's where she's hanging out at, and she's seeing like a couple of the Fae with her and helping her out. There's one named Alice and like a couple of others that are there. So she notices like a few of the Fae just kind of hanging about, and that's really it. And so she ends up meeting Lucian, which is like Tamrin's right-hand man, I guess you could say. She meets him, and then she's eating, I think she's eating at the table or something like that, some food that she had never. First of all, homegirl was hungry. They have been starving, and she's been hunting and all that stuff, but homegirl's hungry.
And she ain't getting none of that deal.
No, and the food was apparently immaculate. Like,
yeah.
You know, some of these stories, when I read the food that they be eating, I be like, I want to try that.
I know.
I wonder if you can.
That's the same way I feel when I be watching anime. I'm like,
same here. Girl, don't ever, I don't know if you've already watched it or not, Food Wars? Have you ever watched Food Wars?
Girl, yes, and I wish they come out with another season. They tripping.
Girl, if they ever made a restaurant that was based off of Food Wars with the food that they made in it,
yes,
they would take all my money.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
But you know, I was watching somebody on Instagram, and she just be, what she does is she make all the food in animes. I only seen her like 1 or 2 times, but you know, yeah, she be doing that.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool.
That food in that animes be looking so good.
So good. And then the way that they be reacting to the food, I'd be like, dang, I know this stuff is good. Like.
Well, animes from Japan, and you know that's how Japanese people, they eat. They so animated when they eat.
Girl, me too.
And that made me right, cause I'm like,
be dancing.
I think we just different from them. We did it in a different way.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so homegirl's like moving around the court or whatever, and she's noticing little things, thinking she's walking around by herself and all that, and kind of exploring new places. She's trying to find answers to, I'm kind of gonna skip a little bit ahead.
It's okay.
So she's trying to find answers from something, and from as to why she's there and all this other stuff. And so Lucian tells her, hey girl, there's this thing called the Blight. Like, it's got all the answers you need. Just go ahead and go find it and all this stuff. Didn't warn her, didn't tell her she needed to take anything. Just kind of set homegirl up for failure. So she goes out and searches for the Blight, and she kind of gets herself in a little bit of a mess, but she ends up getting some of her answers. She gets some of her questions answered as much as like she can get.
Right, because I don't think that they know that she is as strong as she is right now.
They didn't.
And they didn't think she was going to go out there and really do it.
Nope. And so Tamrin wasn't happy with Lucian about that. When she did get back, he was like, bro, like, what the hell, man? Like, but she was like, I mean, she didn't die, so it's not that big of a deal. Like,
I don't even know how she caught them, but
I don't either.
She learned how to catch one.
Homegirl was skilled.
Yeah, very, very skilled. She was a hunter. That was what she was known for, as being a hunter.
Yep.
But she catched them, like, get all the answers that she needs. She asked him a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah. And then she gets back, and she starts kind of like, getting familiar with Tamrin and Lucian and Alice and all of them. And then I'm trying to think what big event happened after that. Was it... I mean, that's kind of far, but when Reeson comes into the garden, is it that Reeson that goes into the garden and sends a chopped head or something like that?
Yeah, girl, that's like the almost end of the book.
Is it?
I mean, it's a lot that happened, but it's like mostly
like them getting to know each other and stuff.
Getting to know them, like why, like she's just trying to figure out why she there most of the time. And
I forgot about the big Fae Day thing that they had, where it was like supposed to be where you find your mate.
The solstice.
Girl, okay, let's talk about the solstice. So honestly, kind of sounds like it was lit. They had drinks, they had music, they had
like for real.
Yeah, they was turning up. They was supposed to find their mate. Most of them it sounded like a big ass orgy, honestly.
Sounds so fun.
It did. It sounded lit. So they were trying to tell her, like, hey girl, stay hidden, because homeboy like is gonna be looking for you, and you're not technically who he's supposed to be with right now. So he needs to find his person. So she's like, okay, bet. She didn't do that.
And this is after, like, y'all, this is a good bit through the book, because now Tamlin is starting to like this girl.
Yeah, he's starting to catch feelings for her. He's concerned about her well-being. He want to make sure she's good. So he already is like focused on her. And so he goes to the thing. She's like hanging out for a little bit, and they're like, all right, time to go inside. She's like, but the party hasn't started yet. He's like, I said what I said, go back inside. So she don't listen, and she ends up kind of moving about, and ends up actually they have that whole night, and Tamron comes back to the palace or whatever they live at, and homegirls.
No, boo. She got out. Because he told her, go in your room, do not come out until the next morning. She was like, nah, I really want to see what's going on. He was like, nah, what'd I say? Stay in your room. You do not want to be seen. And so she went out. She was like, I got to go. I just want to go so bad. So she ended up getting her horse, going out, seeing why, she went down there, seeing the fire, seeing all the people, what's going on down there. And then something happened.
Oh, she got caught by those. Yep.
That's when she met Risa. She didn't know who he was then. Mm-hmm. So she met Risa. Risa saved her from something was going on.
She was about to get snatched up by some other fae.
I don't know why you thought wasn't nobody gonna see the only human there.
Right.
That was so crazy. But Risa saved her, was asking her who she was, who are you, where you belong to. She wasn't telling him the story, which I'm glad she did. Mm-hmm. But so then he ended up getting her to some safety. She ended up going back, and then when she went back, she got into her room and she was like, I'm kind of hungry. So then she was like, ooh, I ain't even eat today. Then she want to go down to the kitchen. So when she came down to the kitchen, that's when
Tamron.
Did she see Lucian first?
Oh, I think she did see Lucian first. He was like, hey, girl,
and
you need to be
Lucian was
careful.
like, girl, what you doing? Girl, what you doing now? What you doing? Go back in your room, what we tell you. Mm-hmm. And she was like, nah, I'm hungry. Like, and he was like, but if Lucian smell you, he can't do what he need to do. Yep. And he got to do what he need to do, because we got to give back to the earth. And the way they give back to the earth is to mate with another fae. Mm-hmm. Like something with their magic.
Yeah, and it's like they're like whoever is chosen based off of the gods or whatever that they worship. Like that was chosen for them. That was supposed to be the person for life.
Right. And then so he was like explaining to her like what they was doing or whatever. He was like, now go back in your room for Lucian smell you.
Tamron.
Oh, yeah, for Tamlin smell you, so I could get back and do what I need to do, because I need to go back and mate. Mm-hmm.
He told her, too, Tamlin's not going to be like the normal I know you... We've been in here for 35 minutes, and now Onyx want to start tripping. It's been quiet, girl. And now Onyx want to start. Anyway. Ooh, Onyx.
And I have too.
Girl. So he tells her, Tamron's not going to be the same person you've been seeing. He's going to be in his He's going to be in his truest form. He's going to be very powerful. So some of the stuff that you may think you might be able to handle, he not going to be able to stop himself like he would normally. And she's like, it'll be fine. Like, let me just go get something to eat. Girl.
So Lucian leave back out to go do his thing, because of course he got a mate too. And she like, okay, well let me just, I'm gonna step out for a minute. She's so hard-headed, y'all. The girl's so hard-headed, she literally don't listen to nobody. Like
nobody.
Whatever they tell her to do, she gonna do the opposite. This is what she do.
Mm-hmm. No, that's facts.
Right, so she out again. Then this time she see Tamla, and he was like, he come up there, and just like y'all, this was Tamla starting to like her a little bit, and he's like, "What you doing now? Whatever." And she was like, "I'm trying to get up out to eat, whatever." And then he was like, "Don't you know that I smelled you?" He was like, "And I looked for you and looked for you, and when I couldn't find you, I was forced to have to go find somebody to mate with." And that's when she was like, I'm looking for me. So now she's starting to be like, because now she's starting to like him too.
Mm-hmm. Hold on one second, girl, because Onyx is tripping right now.
Yeah, he really is. He like, y'all up in my place, y'all in my area.
Girl, like,
I'm just like, you making noise and I'm making noise too. Cause why you in my room?
Girl, until this mug pays some bills.
Honestly, I ain't asked to be here.
Girl, I was say, it's so funny. So my boss was like, yeah, there's somebody that wants a rabbit. And I just kind of looked at her. And she's like, so if you ever think of getting rid of Onyx, and I was like, I mean, I really enjoy Onyx. Like, but.
When he started getting on your nerves,
girl, like, oh,
you better leave Onyx.
Chill, I fed you. You got water. The space is clean. Onyx low-key living in a mansion, girl. This little house thing that I got, it's like a little mansion. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, so he was like,
oh. Okay, go ahead.
So he was like, oh, I smelt you down there. She was like, oh, for real? He was like, yeah, I can't find you. I had to mate with somebody else. She was like, oh, for real? And then he was like smelling her and like kissing on her and all kind of like, I don't know if he was like kissing her, but he was like really close to her, like neck. It's like, anyway, that's how I envisioned it.
Me too.
Oh, okay. So, and then I guess he told her to go to bed.
Well, she, in her head,
they didn't do that, did they?
He was on her, and I think he was kissing on her because it got brought up the next day when they was eating breakfast. Cause
then he put a hickey and stuff
yes,
on her
girl.
And everything.
Yep, and she was like, I just want him to take me right now. I want his lips on my breast. Yeah. So yeah,
that pussy was wet.
Thing was throbbing. She was ready for nothing.
Throbbing down there. So the next day, they woke up, they in the kitchen, they in the dining room eating like nothing, like that never happened. She come down, says DT, she was like, I ain't finna hide these. He put them on me. Or whatever. And I forgot what was said, what Lucia said to her.
I don't remember, but I know it was shady.
Yeah, she was like, well, somebody had their mouth on my neck. And they wouldn't be there if he wouldn't. Yeah. Go ahead, girl. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what was said either, but I just know they was gonna try to ignore it, and Lucian was like, "So we just not gonna talk about last night? Like, he's gonna act like it ain't happened." So they had like a small discussion about it, and then that was kind of that on that. And then I feel like after this big thing is when the head in the garden was discovered, because I don't think there was anything in between that.
Yeah, just some kind of flirting back and forth, and he gave her a paint set.
Oh yeah, she did start painting again. That was cool. Yeah, so homeboy comes, Reeson comes and leaves a severed head in the garden, and so homegirl Farrah's out there and she sees it and freaks out. So then Tamron and Lucian spot it and they see, and then Reeson ends up coming over for like dinner or something, and he's like, hey, so Amarantha, she's still on her same mess, so what you about to do, because this is what she wants. And pretty much Reeson was her, what would you call what he was in a nice way?
Reeson was her hoe. Basically.
You're right.
That's what she was. That's what he was. Reeson is like a high fae too, y'all. But at the same time, she had already took almost everybody's powers that was high fae. So, he was just like, what, I gotta get in while I fit in. So he would sleep with Reeson. She would sleep with Reeson, just cause she wanted somebody to sleep with. And then he would kind of get more things than other people did. If that makes sense. So she thought, Esmeralda thought, however way you say her name, thought that, like, yeah, whatever. She thought that he was, like, on her side. Like, she trusted him a lot. But go ahead, girl.
Yeah, so he was doing all that, and so it was weird because Amarantha took, like, she didn't take all of their power, but she took a good chunk of it, and so they weren't as powerful as they normally would be. But so when Rhysand popped in and he was like, hey, you know, y'all need to do this, but they were trying to tell Farrah, like, hey girl, this isn't safe for you, but we're gonna glamour him so that he won't, like, notice you around. But they kept forgetting that, like, everybody can smell the girl. So she was in the same space that they were in, but she was like hiding behind a curtain or something like that. And so they're having this conversation, which now looking back on it, once you get to the end of the story, you're like, okay, I see why they did what they did. But they're having this conversation about all the stuff that's going on and what Amarantha wants and all this other stuff and how she's gonna come and collect whether he likes it or not. And so, you know, he feels away because he really care about this girl now, and he's like, I need to make sure everybody's safe, but I also need to make sure my people are good. So something happens, and I can't remember. He ends up leaving, but something happens, and I don't remember what it was. But out of nowhere, she, like, the glamour of all of the Fae is off of her. So now she's seeing a crap ton more Fae than she's ever seen, and she's like, where did all these people come from? Oh, I think that was before when they were having the party. And she was like, where all these people come from? And she was like, they've been here, like, you just haven't been able to see them. So,
oh yeah, it was like people that was working in the garden or something.
Yeah, so she was like, so when I snuck out go ahead.
Yeah, basically when she was like, so when I snuck out, they was out there and they was like, yep, they've been here the whole time.
Just watching her sneak on by, they was like, look at this little stupid. So she's realizing that there's more Fae around than she expected, and stuff is getting real. Like, okay, stuff is getting real, and things are needed. Like, stuff is happening, and it's getting real bad. Like, I guess some of the other lands, cause I think it was it like 7 kingdoms or something like that,
different courts.
Different courts. So there, like, stuff is happening where, like, different courts are starting to perish because of Amarantha, and so it's starting to get hot by them, and they're trying to figure out, like, what they need to do. So because now all these feelings are involved with homegirl, they're like, we need to send her away, because he knows that if Amarantha comes and sees her, she's gonna kill her.
Right, because when Rhysand was there, Rhysand ended up seeing her, and so they was like, nah, girl, you got to go. So he sends her back to her home in the morning. Rhys sending her home.
You said what?
Rhys sending her home. Like, he did a whole bunch to get her there.
Yeah, he sure did. So she gets back or whatever, and she notices her family is doing real good. Like,
good.
Like, they wearing nice clothes, they eating good, their house is nice, like, they doing real good. And she's like, what happened? Like, who's been taking care of this? But whatever. So her little sister Elaine, homegirl, lives in a whole bubble. Bless her heart, she don't know what's going on. She don't.
Going on.
Like, she just be like chilling. Like, girl, you don't know nothing about the world outside of this, which is fine. Like, keep her shielded. But it's like, dang, she don't be knowing nothing. So she gets back. Her sister's like, hey girl, how was auntie so and so? You know, and she's like, hey, she died. That's why I'm back. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And then Nesta's like, oh, so you was with auntie? She's like, yeah. And she's like, nah, girl, I know none of that was true. You was over there.
Because she was like, there is no whatever.
We ain't got one of them. And she's like, how do you know? How you know? She's like, well, you know, we've been known, da-da-da-da-da. Well, she knew. And then come to find out, Nesta tried to go find her. Because
Nesta was like, I know I'm not crazy. She knew that it wouldn't, that the glamour didn't work on her.
Yep, so the glamour worked on everybody except Nesta, which is why I can't wait to read what happens with Nesta in the next books, because why didn't it work?
Why did Nesta get glamour?
Yeah, why didn't it work? So her and Nesta try to have, like, because, you know, Nesta's kind of cold towards Farrah all the time, so she's trying to, they kind of come to a common ground while she's back. And Farrah realizes, like, her daddy still ain't shit. But they still
Like, for real.
they've been making it work while she's been away. Her dad's happy to see her or whatever, but also like not pressed because one of the concerns was
even I'm sorry, even after he had money, he still was shit.
Still wasn't. And one of the things that came up when she was in Prithian was that, oh, maybe your dad's gonna come try to look for you or whatever. She like, he ain't coming out here. He is not gonna look for me.
And the one time she thought she heard him, because at some point she thought she heard him in the woods. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even really him, and she was like, why was I even thinking that was him? Because I know he ain't coming to look for me.
Mm-hmm. Whole time Nessa was trying to find her, even though Nessa always try to act like she don't be caring. Nessa messed with her sister. Like,
right, that's her sister.
Yeah. So Farrah tells her everything that happened and all of the details, and she's like, okay, bet, this is what's going on. And she's like, but I gotta leave because I love this man. Oh, and that was the thing too. Before he sent her off, Tamron told her that he loved her, and she didn't say nothing back. She just blinked at him and kept walking. So
right, but she wanted to say it, but she did.
Yeah,
I was like, girl, if you don't tell him you love him back, like when I first heard, like even before I knew all that, when I first heard, I'm like, girl, why is you not saying you love that man back?
Right, boom, pow, the power, the spell's broken, end of story. Like,
cause why he said it several times.
He did.
Like, why you keep saying it?
She talking about somebody didn't get a chance. Girl, you had at least 30 minutes. Like,
girl, at least, cause he said it. He said it the night before when y'all was making love.
Yep.
Because that's the part we skipped. Cause like the night before she had to leave, they made love, and he told her he loved her then. She still didn't say it back.
Nope.
She looking like Then he said it again. That morning before she left, he said it. Then ended up when she was supposed to be getting quartered off. He said it again.
And I get it, like she may have not been ready to say it, because just because somebody tells you that they love you don't necessarily mean you need to say it back. But she realized she felt
they didn't know what was going on. No, D. She knew what kind of dire things that was happening to them. Why you couldn't say it even if you didn't feel it?
She didn't
even know if this man was.
She didn't know yet, though. I mean, I don't think she
knew what
realized.
she was feeling.
Well, when I say
she knew what she was feeling,
she knew what she was feeling, but she didn't know about the other stuff until she came back.
I know she didn't know, but I'm just saying, you know, this man probably gonna die. Or
right.
You gonna die.
Something gonna happen.
Why you couldn't just say, even if you didn't feel it, you should have said it anyway.
But I think it had to be. Well, yeah. Yeah, she should have just told.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just what I felt. I felt like, girl, why you just say it back? Like, even if you didn't feel it, I know she didn't know that the spell was gonna be broke or whatever. But even if she wasn't feeling it, she should have said it, because she still was feeling some type of way towards him.
She was, and she realized that, and which is what made her decide to go back. But it's like, girl, what if you didn't have the opportunity to go back? Then what?
Right, that's why I would have said I love you.
Yeah, you just never know.
I mean, I'll never see you again.
Right. Because but that was one of the things he told her was, you know, I'll be coming back for you or something like that. I don't know when, but I'm gonna be coming back for you. She was like, okay. And she held on to that, and then she was like, let me just go take matters into my own hands.
Yeah, and the more she thought about it, the more she knew she was falling in love with him. The more she like, the days went by, she was just waiting for him to come, and that's when this was like, look, girl.
Right. You better go on somewhere. You're not gonna be around this house moping and sad and whatnot.
Right.
Go find your man.
Don't come back.
Right.
Don't come back over here. We good over here.
Right.
Don't worry about us.
She said, we got this. You'll be fine.
Right.
So Farrah ends up going back over the border to get back to Prithian, to get to where everybody's at from that court. But when she gets...
It took her forever.
It took her a minute. But when she got back to the area, she noticed that things were very different. Like, things didn't look the same. A lot of people were missing. So she's digging around in the house that she was staying in with them, and like nobody's there. And she's like, where is everybody? So as she's looking through one of the rooms, Alice pops up on the scene, and she's like, hey girl, you know, what's been going on? You know, this and that. So she's giving her all the tea, but she's also telling her like, hey, so this is the reason why you were here. This
First
is
of
what's
all,
going on.
Alice said, you stupid girl.
She did. She was like, you dumb. Why are you here? You dumb. But since you're here, like, let's try to figure this out. But you shouldn't have come back.
Right.
But the thing was funny for me was that she was like, you know, I just feel so struggling, and it sounded like Alice was like, girl, you should have been said that. Like,
right.
This could have all been resolved. But so Alice tells her all the tea, and she's like, okay.
While telling her she's stupid.
While telling her she uplifted and broke her down at the same time, like all at the same time. So
I would have been mad too, cause girl, we could have had the mask off had you just said I love you.
I'm saying, like, she's like, this is all on you, girl. Like, you are kind of it that's gonna hold us all together, cause right now everybody's gone. So then she's like, well, what happened to everybody? So come to find out, Amarantha took everybody. She got Tamarin under her control. She got Lucian and like most of the Fae just under her little control, and they're in the not a dungeon, but they're like underground somewhere, right?
They under the mountain.
The mountain, okay. And so Alice,
but see now what the book tell you almost at the end is that all the whole court was there. The whole court was like high Fae and stuff, but it was still people that was lived there, and I don't know what to say, if that's like that territory, country, whatever territory. It was a lot of people that lived in that territory that was not even high Fae, and they was just trapped. They was just imprisoned in a dark mountain with no air, no light, nothing.
Just living uncomfortably.
Right.
So
like a lot of stuff was happening. And so Alice is trying to tell her, she's like, I'm gonna go find them, and she's like, girl, you can do what you gotta do, but let me give you some tips real quick, so you don't get killed immediately upon entering. So right, and she was like, what Alice? Ain't her name Alice? What she was doing was in there looking for food. She was like rummaging through everything because they had went in there and tore the whole castle up. So she was just looking for food to feed her nephews.
A mess. And so Alice tells her, don't listen to, what'd she say? Don't trust everything you hear. Don't trust everything you see. And listen to what's going on. Like, really listen to the stuff that's going on around you. So she's like, all right. So she gives her some stuff, some supplies, and she sends her on her little merry way. So she gets to the mountain and gets into the area that everybody's at, and she sees she enters into the I'm guessing like a main, not ballroom, but like a main area where all the people are at. Is that what happened? I'm trying to remember if I'm saying this correctly.
No, what happened is she go there. She go to the mountain and she don't see nobody. It's super quiet down there. And she end up like going into like somewhere, and she end up seeing Reason. And so when she seen Reason, what happened?
No, go ahead.
No, when she seen Reason, I don't remember what Reason was saying to her. She ended up seeing Reason. Reason pretty much was like, girl, you came all the way down here. Oh, you the girl I seen that time. And then another part that we did not mention is Reason seen her at the house, and he was like, what's your name? And she was smart about this because she didn't tell him her name.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, when Reason came to that time when he came, and before she had to leave Tam and them, when Reason was there, he was like, before I leave, what's your name? And she was like, oh, Claire Batter or something like that. Claire something. And she gave him like just a random name that she knew a girl in that village or whatever. And that's what happened when she was at home. They family house burnt down, wasn't no survivors, and she knew then that it was Reason them that did that. And that's another reason what made her go back to try to find Tam and them. So as she is under this mountain, she see Reason like, oh, it's you. Oh, hey girl, come on over here with me. And he pretty much took her into see Esmeralda. And you go ahead.
So he takes her in to see Amarantha, and he's like, Amarantha's looking around trying to figure out, like, who is this girl? So she's like, what's your name? So nobody says anything. Everybody just kind of quiet, looking around, and she's like, I'm gonna ask you again, what is your name? So she don't say anything for a little bit. Tamron don't say nothing. Lucian don't say nothing. Reeson don't say nothing. So at a certain point, she starts to do something to, who was it? To Lucian? Did she started doing something to somebody, or was about to do something to somebody, and she's like, okay, my name is Farah. I forgot who it was that she was messing with. Lucian had one eye, because Amarantha had messed with him before, and so
she keep messing with him.
Mm-hmm.
She won't mess with Tamla because she loves it. She won't Tamla.
She want him. So
she won't mess with him. She'll just mess with Lucian.
Mm-hmm.
And that same night when all that happened, before she was like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, that same night when she met her Farah or whatever, something happened and he ended up having to get some. Tamla had to have whip him. Remember?
Oh yeah, for him not following orders or doing something, Tamlin had to punish Lucian, and she knew that was hard on him because that was his homie, like his.
Yeah, that was like his BFF.
Yeah, so she eventually tells her name, and she's like, I don't remember how the conversation flowed, honestly, but at a point she tells her, like, hey girl, this is what you're gonna need to do in order for all this to change and for me to release him and all these people, you're gonna go through my trials. So she was like, there's gonna be 3 trials that you're gonna do, and if you survive them, I'll set them free. And she's like, you gotta set them free instantly. And homegirl was like, all right, bet. So she, in the meantime though, she's to be locked up in like a dungeon or something like that while she waits for the trials to take place.
And she gotta do work.
And she gotta do work.
Her key.
Yeah, which some of the stuff they was having her do, I'm like, these people are very powerful. Like, literally have magic. They don't need her to do this. It's just a thought process thing, like to mess with her mind. So I don't remember what the first task that she was doing, but the first
she had to run from the I don't know what the first task was, but the first trial she had to do the worm thing, right? Right. So one of the first trials, she is in like a little, I just thought of it like a Coliseum, like dirt thing, and they're all looking at her from above, and there's this worm that she has to try to fight off and hope that she survives. Well, nobody realizes that homegirl is as smart as she is. Like, she's a hunter, like she does all this other stuff, so she was gonna figure it out. So this worm get in there and she's running around trying to make sure that she doesn't get eaten up. Well, as time is going on, she's realizing that the worm can't see her, it can only smell her. So she ends up running far enough away so that she finds this like little pitted area, and she puts little like stakes and stuff so that it can fall down, but she covers herself in like mud and stuff so that the worm shit.
Yeah, so that's that the worm won't smell her. So she does all that, and then she goes back to where the worm is at so that she can kind of draw it out. But as she's doing that, they did something that was kind of like cheating, but I don't remember what it was. And then was it Lucian that was like over there to your right, or was that Reeson? Somebody said something and it made her turn back around.
I think it was Lucian. And that's why he got in trouble.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that makes more sense. Sense. So he shouts out something, so she turns back around and she figures out where she needs to get, and the worm ends up coming towards her. Well, then the worm drops into that pit thing that she set up and ends up dying. So then the people are like, oh dang, she won, this is cool. So she's beaten, and she's kind of struggling because she done put up a lot of effort to deal with this worm situation, and she goes back into her to her cell, but homegirl is struggling like bad.
Yeah, because she got a broke arm, a bone hanging out, like she beat herself up get herself away from the sperm.
Yeah, really, really bad. And so she's been sitting in this cell trying to hold it together, but she's in so much pain. They're kind of sort of feeding her, but not like that for real. Like, it's weighing on her mentally and physically. And she's hoping that somebody will come in and kind of like, not necessarily save her, but like help her out because she's in so much pain. And the person that comes in is freaking Reason. She was trying to hold out and hope that like Lucien would come, but Lucien was struggling because he was still recovering from the incident that happened prior, so he wasn't even fully recovered yet.
Because something happened to her before she, like the first, not the trial, like whatever she had to do on her duty, whatever it was that she had to do that we can't remember. The first time she got hurt or something. Oh no! Right after, I know what it was. Right after Esmeralda, told her her three tasks was going. Well, she was gonna have to do 3 tasks and all this stuff. Then she got beat up real bad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So she had people beating her up real bad before she could do her first task. But Lucien came in there and healed her. Well, when he healed her, he got in trouble. Ain't that why he got in trouble?
I think so.
For him and her, and that's why Tamla had to give him a couple lashes on his back. And so then, this time after the whole thing, Lucien didn't come back because he knew that they were watching him. So she was like suffering for a couple of days, like almost, she was dying, basically. And that's when Reason came in. He was like, "Look, girl, this the deal. Go ahead."
He was like, "Look, this is the deal." Which Alice told her, do not make deals with these Fae. Like, they will get you into some mess that you may not be able to get yourself out of. But in her head, she was like, well, these are really the only options I have at this point, and I'll figure it out.
Right, because she had told him no a couple of times already.
Yeah, she's like, I'll have to figure it out after the fact because right now I'm going to die. So his deal was, hey, girl, I'll heal you, but you're going to have to be mine once a month, was it?
For a week once a month.
A week once a month. So she's like, all right, deal. Well, homeboy grabs and he puts this tattoo on her arm. And it has a little eye and like a whole bunch of other designs and stuff like that, but it's on her.
Tattoos seem real fine.
It did, didn't it? Like a really nice sleeve. I was like, damn.
Right, for real, from her. No, not even it was a sleeve, but it was all the way from her neck down her arm.
Yeah, it just sounded like a really dope, like, piece.
Like, for real.
So she has this tattoo now, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is super visible. Like, as soon as Tamlin sees it, he's gonna lose his mind. But the whole time that she's been seeing Tamlin, he hasn't been reacting to her at all. Like, he hasn't been nothing, like not making eye contact for real, just looking real like broken down, like he
stone face.
Yeah, just real like nothing, no emotion, no nothing.
Tamlin haven't even spoken since he been there.
Nope. And so
he won't speak.
He won't speak. And so Amarantha feels a way about how that whole thing is going on anyway. But she's kind of freaking out because she's like, crap, this is about to happen, and he gonna see it and he gonna feel a way. But you know what? I had to do this because I'm trying to save him. So she is kind of like waiting around. So after that, she gets healed or whatever, and she's waiting around. So then Reason starts to take her to her first like little party. This is in between the trial. So she goes to her first party and she gets drunk than a skunk. And she's like, Alice told her to be careful of the wine. She's like, don't mess with that wine. Do not get drunk while you're down there because stuff is gonna happen that you're not gonna remember. All of that. So she's like, but
she didn't want the wine either.
She didn't want it, but wine. He forced her to drink because it took her out. She was dancing and sitting on homeboy's lap and all this other stuff. And Tamlin just looking at her, not really looking at her, but just looking at the scene around him and just being like, I mean, I'm not really sure what else to do, type of thing. So that happens like nights and nights and nights in a row. All of this is in between the next trial. Homegirl is getting wrecked like every night.
Like for real.
Yeah. So now, am I okay to move to the second trial, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now
There's some junk that happened in between, but it's not really necessary for us to tell you. Just know that there's a lot of stuff that happened in between.
Mm-hmm.
So like she doing more tasks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I remember one of the tasks was to clean homeboy's
the
floor.
lentil.
Yeah, with pick it up with they didn't give her nothing to do with, and they kept pouring it on the ground, didn't they?
She had to clean the lentils at the fireplace.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
And it ended up being Reason's room, and they thought that when they put her in there that he was gonna have his way with her, but he wasn't having his way with her. And I can't remember why he said he wouldn't.
I don't remember. I think he said he wasn't. Well, this was at the end. I think he was saying he didn't want to because he didn't want that on him, but he wanted to make it seem that way because he needed Tamlin to get angry, and when Tamlin gets angry, they knew his power was going to be unmatched.
Right.
So all that happens, and then the second trial finally comes up. Now the second trial is something that seems very simple, but she can read. Homegirl was learning to read, but she still wasn't, proficient. So the thing was like a reading test, and she was losing her mind. Oh, I just hit the mic. She was losing her mind because she was just like, I don't know what any of this says. I don't know what's going on. So Reason, who has this tattoo on her arm, is kind of talking to her through the tattoo. So she's about to pull a lever, and it says something like "not that one" or something to that effect until she gets to the right one.
It like she had a painful feeling in that hand with the eye on it. And so every time first she was like, I'm gonna pick 2 because she was like, if I put one is not good, 2 remind me of me and Tamla, so I'm gonna pick 2, and 3 is just too much. So let me pick 2. So when she kept trying to pick 2, the hand would have like a really bad pain in it. And then she would go to 1, and then I think it was 1 that she had to pick. So she went to 3, and she had bad pain, and 1 she didn't have no pain in, so she ended up picking the 1.
But how did nobody notice this tattoo on her arm? Like nobody thought like this might be doing something.
They did. We missed that part. So when she got this tattoo on her arm, Reason was like, "You mine. I'll mark you. You mine. I don't like when people touch my stuff, so don't even try it."
Oh, and I forgot that when they were having those parties, he would have her get painted fully so he could know if anybody touched her because the paint would rub off on her.
Right. So the one day that one time she went to the party and Risa wasn't even paying up. This is like after the second trial, and she won the second trial, which was like we just said that right there with the words not it. And so after this day, it was like doing like a little party or whatever. And when she went to the party, she did all the stuff he told her to do, like putting the paint on her and that kind of stuff. And when she went to the party, then she noticed that somebody else was sitting on his lap. And he wasn't even really studying her, so she seen Tamla, and she went off in the corner, and Tamla was somewhere they met in the cave, somewhere, and they just start kissing. They didn't say no words, nothing, and she just started kissing. They started feeling on each other. She started unbuckling his pants, all kind of stuff, y'all. Well, then Reason showed up or whatever. He was like, "Oh, for real? This is what you gonna do?" He was like, "How dare you do this?" He was like, "How about you buckle up your pants and go out there before Esmeralda see you?" And so he didn't say nothing to him. Tamla just buckled up his pants and left. And then he was like, "Girl, why would you be doing that? This is like the stupidest thing you could have done. What if she would have seen you or whatever?" And right when he was like saying that to her, he heard Esmeralda coming, and he just started kissing at her.
But one of the things he did do too is because she had all that paint and stuff on her, before Tamlin left, he put like a glamour or something so it looked like nothing happened, because he knew that if Tamlin went out there and Amarantha saw all the paint on him, she was going to lose her mind. So he did something to her to keep that from happening. But then, like you said, when they were coming into the cave, he was slapping her down, and Amarantha and Tamlin and all that was looking at them.
Right, and she was like, "See, Tamara, she don't love you. She got a heart of a human. They don't love nobody." Da 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 da. She was kind of happy to see that at the same time, but also she wasn't happy to see that because that's still her lapdog. Like Tamara still, I mean not Tamara, but Lisa is still her lapdog. So she felt some type of way about it, but she also did feel some type of way about it at the same time. But this the part I was confused on. Was that the real Tamara? I don't think that was the real Tamara she was kissing.
You don't think so?
Because at when they went into the third trial,
it wasn't
or whatever they was doing, he disappeared.
Oh, true. So something I wanted to.
And because
oh, go ahead.
This was the third trial when there was the 3 people.
Yeah.
And then the third person was Tamara.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
So I was like, was that Tamara she was kissing, or was she kissing somebody else?
Yeah. Well, when before we get to the third trial, there in between the second and the third, she was given an opportunity to solve a riddle, and if she solved the riddle, she was able to. Amarantha was supposed to release everybody immediately and send them home. But that was apparently just for the riddle. It wasn't for the trials, it was for the riddle. So I don't remember. I really wish I had the book so I could read what the riddle was. But I don't remember. Let me see if I could. I want to see if I could find this. I'm just. Okay. So the riddle was there are those who seek me a lifetime, but we never meet, and those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I bless those who are brave enough to dare. By large, my ministrations are soft-handed and sweet, but scorned I become a difficult beast to defeat. For though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow. And that was the riddle that she was supposed to solve. Homegirl could not for the life of her figure out what that riddle was. She thought about it for a little bit of a minute and then was like, let me just go ahead and do this third trial because I don't know what this answer is.
Right, she was like, girl, I'm illiterate. You know I ain't gonna figure this out. I ain't even gonna try.
I was like, that's fair. She was already getting whooped. She's like, might as well just finish this last one and see what happens. So, okay, let me get to the third trial and then I'm gonna ask you this. So the third trial happens, and she's like, all right, we're here at the third trial. This is it. Like, I'm sure I've been beating these other ones. I'm sure I could do this last one. So Amarantha is truly trash, and is like, this is the last thing you'll have to do, and as long as you can do it, then you'll be, everything will be good to go, like I said. So she's like, all right, bet. So she brings out 3 people. They have little sheets or stuff over their head, and she sees that. She's like, you're gonna have to kill all these people. So she's like, I don't know if I can really do that, but like, if this is gonna save, all of these people, then I'm not gonna be good with it, but like, I gotta do what I gotta do. So she gets ready to stab the thing that was crazy about it is each person has to be stabbed with a different knife that she has to pick up each and every time in between. So
yes,
homegirl reaches out to go grab the first blade and goes to stab the first person, and they take the sheet off of his head, and it's like a young fae, and the young fae's like, please don't do this, girl, like it's not even worth it, please spare my life, all this other stuff. And she's like, I'm real sorry, bro, but I gotta do this. So she stabs him. He falls and dies.
Maybe he was crying more than that other girl.
Yeah, he was. Homegirl was like, I mean, if this is how I gotta go, this is how I gotta go. Do what you gotta do, girl.
Exactly.
Like, so she does that first one. She feels horrible, but she's like, all right, one down. Cool. The second one comes up. She grabs the blade. She goes to stab. They take the sheet off her head. It's a young lady. Young lady's like, she's upset, but she's also like, it's okay, sis. I get it.
Which she was, but the crazy thing about it was she was worse than she was with the first dude.
She was. Cause she's like, dang, I just took somebody's life and I'm about to get another person's life. Like, this is rough. So she ends up stabbing homegirl. She's like, all right, bet, all this. So that's done. She feels awful. So the third person comes up and she's like, okay, I just got one more. Before I say what I'm about to say, who did you think it was?
thought that first of all, I didn't really think about the third person. I thought the 3 people that they brought in was old girl and her nephews.
Oh, see, I thought it was her family.
That too. I thought about that too.
Yeah, I thought it was their family. I was like, oh, this is about to be her dad and her 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now she goes to the third person, grabs the knife, goes to stab. They take the sheet off, and it's Tamlin. And she's like, oh my gosh, I am not going to be able to do this. And everybody's like, that's not fair. You cheated, you da-da-da-da. She's like, no, she said she'll do it. And once she kills him, that'll be that. So now homegirl's
right. And that's when you see the people start changing.
Yeah, because they were like, this is foul.
Changing.
Yeah, because they're like, you're not even playing fair, girl. Like, you set homegirl up, but they don't know what she knows. So she's racking her head about everything that was kind of happening over the course of her stay there the first time, like when she was in Prithian, all that. She's trying to remember conversations. She's just remembering different things and remembering what Alice told her about just think about everything, listen to everything, all that. So she's like remembering that she heard some conversations about his heart being like cold or stone or something like that. And so she's like, oh, that's right. Like, if I stab him, he'll be like okay for the most part. So she's like, she feels comfortable in that, and she stabs him, and he's like, oh, okay. She's crying, all this other stuff. Homegirl Amarantha is pissed. She was so hot. She was like, this is not fair, whatever, and she starts whooping this girl damn near to death.
Yeah. She was like, I could say y'all, I could set them. I could break the spell, but I didn't say when.
Yeah, she said, I said I would do it, but I didn't say like immediately. The immediately part was for the riddle, if you answered that correctly, but you didn't answer it. She's like, the riddle's love. And she's like, yeah, but it's too late. Like, cool, but whatever, I'm gonna do it. She's breaking her bones. She's like messing with her spine. Homegirl's losing a lot of blood. She is really going through it. And they're trying to, like, Rhys tries to fight Amarantha, and he gets flung across the room. I feel like not Tamlin. What's the old dude's name? Lucian? I don't remember. Did Lucian do anything?
I don't think Lucia was doing anything. I think she was beating up Rhys real good, and that's when Tamlin tried to come and get her.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
Now at this point, the girl already dead because she done broke her goddamn neck. Yeah, she can see through that goddamn hand.
Yeah, she is going through it, and Tamlin ends up getting that knife and stabbing Amarantha right in her head.
Yep.
Like killing her and taking her out. So that breaks the curse. All that stuff is all good, whatever. But homegirl is like dying. She is not doing well. So all the
she dead. She broke her neck.
Oh, okay. So I
didn't even know she broke her neck.
I didn't know that at all
until he was saying.
I didn't even realize that he had broke her neck because I think I missed it because she was still having thoughts. So I don't think I realized that she had died.
Yeah.
But the High Fae were all coming and they're like, for her sacrifice or for, everything she did, they're like giving her little energies and powers and all of that to kind of make her a little bit better. And so each of the High Fae are coming and dropping off little things on top of her. And
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, so Tamlin's like holding her and they're like dropping, not actual physical things, but they're like sprinkling some magic or something on her.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what ended up transforming her. So homegirl transforming is now a High Fae, but she don't realize that she's a High Fae until like a little bit later. But she starts to open her eyes and she's like, oh dang, like I'm still in the same spot. Like it looks like we made it. So, she realizes that, oh crap, I am alive, like this is dope. And she looks down and she looks at her little fingers, and her fingers are really elongated. Her skin's a little bit different. She's moving a little bit different. She's breathing a little bit different. And she realizes that she's now a High Fae.
That's what I was trying to understand. Like, what is High Fae? Like, what do y'all know me? Like I said, I'm always trying to figure out what they look like. So is she in a human form, just bigger?
So this is how I pictured it, is that she still looked human-esque, but her features were just a little bit more elongated. So like her fingers were just like long, but her skin was a little bit different colored and a little bit different textured. That's just kind of how I imagined it. I don't know any of that to be true.
Yeah, but it don't really specify, so I guess to each his own.
Yeah, that's just how I pictured it. So
So I think she had just like noticed that her features had changed, and all of a sudden she was more powerful. She could run longer. Like she was completely healed, because she remember being dying, and she remember her body not even feeling good at all. And when she woke up, she just was all healed. She had no pain, nothing. So Lucia basically is like telling her we had to do it. We couldn't save you no other way. When you fell and broke your neck. And I was like, damn, she broke her neck. She broke her neck.
Amarantha was pissed. She was pissed.
Yeah. They was like, well, we knew that when we heard your neck, the sound of your neck. We heard it. So that's why she was fake. And basically, what else happened, D? They told her all what happened. And they told each other they loved each other.
And then she felt guilty about all the lives she took. And she's like, all these people are coming to thank me, and I feel like I should be getting punished for taking these lives. I'm like, yeah, girl, I get it. But like, you just saved all of these people.
Right.
Like, they are grateful to not be under the what they were dealing with, because they were pretty much slaves to Amarantha.
And so let me just give y'all a little bit of a spoiler for the next one, because we're going to review the next one. We don't know when. But this girl's still feeling guilty about this same thing, about these three people, or these two people she had to kill.
I'm not surprised by that at all, because I was like, she gonna carry this for a long time.
She is. She's still, like, and she's still talking about, like, I didn't have I don't know if this was the end of the last one or the beginning of the next one, but she couldn't ask him, like, she couldn't bring it to ask him what they did with the bodies yet.
Oh, yeah, I think that's in...
Yeah, so I don't really know, like, which one it is in, but just to give y'all a spoiler on the next story, because I already started reading it, and yeah, she's still feeling really guilty about it. So she gonna carry that for a minute. So that made me think that it's really gonna be a whole story with that too.
Yeah, I feel like it is gonna be another story with that. But
yeah, it's definitely gonna be like a little bit of a backstory. I think that's what
I think so too. I wish I would have read a little bit more into the second story, but I didn't want to, because I didn't want to do what I did with the Never King and start blending stuff together from the wrong book, you know?
Listen, you know we be doing that.
Girl. But how did you feel? Well, what are your thoughts and takes on this story?
So I really loved this story. It was so long, and I love that it was so long. I feel like it's gonna be a little bit of Esmeralda still popping up somewhere, or something gonna happen with Reason. And Reason, like, people don't like Reason, but Reason was that man. Like, without Reason, she would be dead.
That's facts.
Like, she wouldn't even have made it, because, honey, it seemed like Tama had given up.
Ooh, girl, and I forgot to mention this. So at the end of everything, she was talking to Reason, and she's like, you know, why did you do all this for me? And he pretty much told her flat out, like, look, I needed to find a way to save myself and my people. He's like,
he got tired of being her lapdog.
Yeah, he was like, I was tired of where I was at, and I needed to find a way to do it, and you were the person that was going to be able to do it. So that's why I even went this far. He's like, I didn't want to have Tamlin mad at me in that way, because he's extremely powerful. But he was like, I needed him to get as angry as possible, because that's the only way his true power was going to come back, and he would be able to defeat Amarantha. But yeah, I didn't think he was that bad after that. But then, you know, he ain't take the thing off her either. So go ahead.
Right, he didn't take. That's what I was gonna say. He didn't take that tattoo away from her, and I don't understand why. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be a lot in the second book that we're going to figure out. As far as that, and she's fading now. So what does that mean for her family? Is she gonna be able to see her family again?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. That's my. It was good though, and I loved it. And I can't wait to get into the second one. So that's my take with it, is that like it left you like right there, like how we cut it off, y'all. Like that's how it left us.
Seriously.
It was like, yeah, they got together, and yeah, she went back to the castle or kingdom or whatever they call it, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But when you get into the second one, it pick it up right there, as if you not missing nothing.
Mm-hmm. I appreciated the story for that too, because I was like, I like the fact that it started right where you left off, because that can be confusing sometimes where it just starts and you're like, I don't even remember what happened. But that was nice.
Right. What about you?
I felt like Nesta's about to be a force to be reckoned with, because Homegirl is not fazed by nothing, and I'd like to see. You know what I appreciate though? I feel like Farrah was like a glue to the family to get them the necessities that they needed, and I feel like Nesta's the glue to family to keep them like together, like mentally and things like that. So even though Nesta didn't necessarily provide a lot of things, she's like the tough love of the family, right? Yeah. So I appreciated it for that, but I'm interested to see what her thing is, because there was another backstory about a man that she was supposed to be engaged to, all this other stuff. It was kind of like a little thing, but I'm just interested to see what her story is about to be, because I know it's going to be an interesting one. So I got that. Amarantha, I mean, I understand she lost her sister, and it was because of a human betraying her sister, but her and taking over whole kingdom so that Tamlin could have her and not want her, she was bitter. She really went a long way over this man who didn't want her. Like, she went hard for this man. Right, and it ain't like she wanted him from the beginning. She just kind of found out that maybe I like him. Right, he's cuter. And you went through all that. Yeah, went all through that. I think it's a whole nother backstory that we don't know about, because remember the man with the eye, he was the most powerful. Hey. So, you know, it kind of told you how she kind of tricked them all, and how she had to take their power. And also, like, now all of them have full power. So what does that mean? Right. What is that about to do for all the kingdoms? But they seem like the certain ones wanted to have peace, because it seems like it's still a little bit divided. Like, some of them wanted peace and some of them didn't. But I'm curious if with Farrah helping them while she was human, but she's Fae now. But I'm wondering if her helping them while she was human will change their perspective on enslaving humans. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I also think that also within a couple of books, I feel like that she's gonna figure out being Fae, what that looks like for her. If that makes sense. Yeah. Like she's gonna see how she's gonna be treated. Yeah. With humans. I agree. And like you were saying, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with her and her family and how that'll all work out now that she's been transformed. But she loved her man and he loved her back, and she rode out for that man. She almost lost her. She was willing to die for this man. Yes. Yes. She should have did that before she went back over there, honey. She should have did that before they sent her back over there to the human realm. She should have been willing to die then before she did that. Like, I'm not going back, Lucia. I'm not going back, Tamlin. What we got to do? Because if we're going to die, we're going to die together. What's up? This my man now. I love him. Right. He did that little thing I like. So, you know. Can't nobody else do it. Can't nobody do it. You know, right, because you know she had a lover. You know, before she left, she had a lover, okay? They talk a little bit about that and how he got married, you know, to somebody else. But she had a lover, so he didn't do it for her. She was like, yeah, he do that thing. He do that thing. Make my eyes roll back, my toes curl. Yes, yes. So I am interested to see. I'm definitely excited, and I'm glad that I did get past the first part of the book because I was talking so much shit about this story before I got to the part that made sense.
You really was not talking all that mess.
It wasn't that bad, but like to my homegirls at work, they was like, "When are you gonna read it?" And I was like, "I'm not finishing that freaking book." And then they kept being like, "Oh, just get to the middle." And I'm like, "This book is thick. For me to get to the middle of it, I gotta pass at least like 10 chapters. And if it hasn't picked up by then I don't want to read it." But
right, because listen, it was hard
it
in the
was
beginning to get over. But now I understand. Now listening to the second one, I understand because, honey, I've only got the 2 chapters. And it's about an hour.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too I appreciated because I understood why they took that much time to give that detail because it was needed to express the significance. Needed. Yeah, the significance of what she was doing. But I was like, bruh, this is wild. But it definitely didn't have that amount of detail throughout the rest of the story, which made it so much better. So I really enjoyed the story once I got into it. And now I'm like looking forward to reading the rest of the series. I know it's like 5 or 6 books long, but like I'm really looking forward to getting to the rest of it.
Right.
I get the appeal.
Right, and I want to listen to this. I want to read this BTS story next.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell y'all. Sometimes we get into it and we be like, oh, we can't stop reading it, and then we have to be like, oh, we gotta review that one because we couldn't stop getting into it and reading it.
Mm-hmm. So the next story that we're gonna be doing is called Luna. It is a BTS fanfic. It's an AMBW, which we're excited about. And but that is also a series. So what I'm thinking we'll end up doing is do like that Luna story next, do another Court of Thorns story, do the other Luna story, and just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth.
But I'm excited to read this because I low-key miss reading the BTS fan fiction. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
But you know, ain't no other smut like a good old BTS fanfic, baby. I'm telling you. And we ain't read that many, but we already know that the smut is not the same.
And that's what I was trying to tell my friend. I was like, she's like, the next book of this series is actually really smutty. And I was like, I don't know, girl. I said, them fanfics that we be reading, this smut is very light compared to what we're used to. She's like, she was like, oh yeah, I've read some of the stories that y'all be reading. She's like, yeah, it's not that much smut compared to those stories. I'm like,
yeah, they ain't, look, them stories ain't on our level,
girl.
They on our smut level.
The thing I do like is that even though they don't have a lot of smut, the story itself is very good, and so it's not really needed, which I can appreciate. It's like the story itself is what makes it so good. The plot, the fact that it has a plot, because we have read some fanfics that are just there's a plot with point with no plot or something like that. What's it called? Plot,
yeah,
whatever. So
yeah.
I think it'll be really cool to see how the rest of them go. But yeah, we ain't gonna get the smut that we get from the fanfics, girl.
Right. I'm just gonna live in there to know it then.
Okay. But we do have a lot of fanfics to read in between. Actually, you know what? I think the Luna story is an ATEEZ fanfic, not a BTS fanfic.
No, not Luna. Luna is the BTS one.
What's the one that was
I've been reading
ATEEZ?
it. That's a whole nother story.
Oh, that's right. See, I got them confused because I started that one too.
Yeah, we had to do research on the ATEEZ because we ain't ATEEZ stands, so we don't know who they are.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was okay with that because a lot of these other stories that we be reading, these regular stories, I don't know who none of these people are. I just make it up in my head.
Right.
So,
but I don't know. I feel like I need to know who these ATEEZ people are.
I don't.
I don't know. I feel like they need, I can't just think about them being somebody else because I'm like, I know they somebody else. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you're saying because they actually exist. Like these are people that actually exist.
Right. So I need to know what they look like in my head. I'm like, I gotta figure out. Like these people, in these other stories, they made up.
Yeah.
You don't know who they are. These are real people.
I get it. That makes sense. That does make sense. That is a way to think about it, girl. Maybe that's why people are like, I don't know who BTS is, so I can't get into them. It's like, you don't have to know.
Oh yeah, but you don't. But if you don't know, straight up know who they are. People that don't know BTS really don't be knowing about K-pop at all,
true.
really.
That's true.
So because we know about K-pop and we know who these are real people and all that kind of stuff, then I feel like that's, and it might be just that for me.
No, but that makes a lot of sense. I feel like a lot of people might have that same thought process, honestly.
Yeah.
So, but it makes sense to me.
Right.
It makes sense. But all right, guys, we just chatting on here, bumping our gums. You can follow us on all of our social media. We haven't discussed this yet, and I'm gonna ask you, want to get Threads? You know, they have Twitter and then they got Threads through Instagram now. Do you want to get a Threads and like use that instead of Twitter, or do you want to keep using Twitter and use Thread? Like, how do you want to do this?
I don't know what you even talking about.
So Instagram, you know how we use Twitter and stuff like that, and Twitter allows you to just like post stuff like it does for Twitter. Well, Instagram does what it does best and came out with a service or an app that is just like Twitter. It's just called Threads, and it's through Instagram outside instead of being through Twitter, because Twitter started making limits on like what you can view and things like that. So Instagram decided to come up with their own little shit, which is cool, but I haven't set up an account or nothing like that because I was like, we'll just keep using Twitter. But a lot of people have downloaded Threads and is using Threads now.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because Twitter got a lot of different rules and stuff.
Yeah, so stuff has been changing, so a lot of people are using that. But I was like, I don't know if we're gonna set up. I mean, we don't really use our Twitter like
Instagram
that.
like bingo,
girl.
Yes.
Yeah, I swear everything that has been out on a different app, Instagram has somehow managed to include it in their own. So like the filter thing was from Snapchat, took that. The Reels thing was from TikTok, took that. Like they started to take the things for Twitter, they took that. The stories, that was from Snap, took that. Like they're just taking little things and trying to make it into their own app, which is like cool, do your thing, but
they're trying to Walmart that thing.
Girl, what?
All in one.
Oh, I might leave this in. This is kind of funny. But yeah, so
all in one.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make one, go ahead, girl. Okay. I didn't know nothing about Threads at all, but I really ain't been. I don't know. I've been on my Netflix, like I've been reading, listening, and doing Netflix. So I have not been doing a lot of social media.
Yeah. Lately. I mean, I've been posting stuff here and there, but I saw that and I was like, I mean, we really didn't post on Twitter like that to begin. Like we were, but then we kind of stopped. I'm like, do we really need to make a whole nother thing? And I'm like,
yeah, that's
I don't
true.
know. I probably won't mess with it. I feel like Instagram and TikTok is cool, and then I
don't know if everybody is.
A lot of people
Threads,
are going, yeah.
Right?
A lot of people are going over to Threads, which is cool. And then you can, I guess, get your same followers, or like you can have, well, not your same, but you can have people follow you on there, like from your Instagram and stuff like that. So I was like, I mean, that's cool. You can just tap it and it kind of takes you straight to the page.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, I have to look into that because I don't know what that's about, but
not much.
It sounds smart.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. For right now, you can follow us on our social media. It is What You Read in Pod or Podcast on most platforms. You can still email us at whatyoureading@gmail.com. You can also just click on our link tree, which has a request form, and you just fill that little thing out and we'll get your request and we will read and review it as quickly as we can. We have a long list already. So, and a lot of these stories are series. So if it doesn't seem like we're getting to your story quick enough, we are still going to get to it. It's just going to take us a little bit of time. Be patient.
Yes, and y'all tell y'all friends about us. Y'all friends that's not BTS friends. Tell them, because we're reading everything, guys.
Girl, I meant to tell you. My homeboy met another person that listened to the podcast and was like, "Yeah, I used to listen to this group, these girls that do the podcast, but I hadn't heard from them in a while." And they're like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh yeah, they're still doing a podcast." Da da da. And she was like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Yeah, I know her." And she was like, "What? You know her?"
Wow.
I was like, that's so crazy. I'm like, the odds. Like, this is in Houston. The last person that heard about our podcast was in Alabama, girl. I was like, but not us being cool for other people as well. And my one homeboy, his cousin listens to us. I guess his cousin.
Okay, well, with that being said, we don't know who y'all are. So shout us out. Let us know who you are. Like, follow, subscribe, whatever.
Yeah,
Let us know you here, because a lot of times, y'all, we were doing lives for a while, and now we're not really doing a lot of lives because people weren't joining us, and we want to know y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see y'all, so hit us up.
I thought that was so cool. He was like, yeah, he likes y'all stuff a lot. I was like, really?
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So we got to keep it up, girl. People are actually like listening to us. And they're enjoying it, which is kind of cool.
Well, I enjoy what we do anyway.
I do too.
If it's not but one listener listening to us, I still enjoy it.
Same.
It's just a tad bit of work for me. They do most of the work. I ain't gonna lie, but I enjoy it so much.
I do too. It's just fun, and it's like the fact that we're like, I like to read, and so the fact that we're reading and like retelling it in our own way, which I think is hilarious how we do it sometimes. So it's just like, it's just kind of something else to do, which I enjoy. And if other people enjoy it too, then that's a plus.
Yes.
So, but anywho, thank y'all for joining us for another week. We will see y'all next time. Bye.